El Clásico is more than just a football match. It's, well, a loud, colorful, passionate story. When Real Madrid and FC Barcelona play, the world honestly just stops to watch. Millions of people hold their breath. Skill drama, intense emotion. It's the biggest club game on the planet. But why? Why does this one match mean so much to so many people? The answer is not just found on the pitch: history, politics, hearts of the people. This is not simply about winning 3 points. It's about pride, identity, and a rivalry that has been passed down through generations like a sacred family heirloom. The roots of this famous rivalry go very deep. They stretch back over 100 years. Real Madrid represents the capital city, the central power of Spain. On the other side, FC Barcelona represents Catalonia, a region with its own language, culture, and a strong desire for independence. So, when these two teams meet, it's not just a battle between two cities, it becomes a symbolic clash between two very different ideas of Spain. The football pitch becomes a stage where these tensions are played out for 90 minutes, a place where history and modern-day politics collide in a spectacular fashion. Every great rivalry needs a moment that turns disagreement into true hatred. For El Clásico, that moment was the transfer of Alfredo Di Stefano in the 1950s. He was a superstar from Argentina, a player who could change everything. Real Madrid. Barcelona thought they had signed him. He even played in a friendly match for them. The fans were excited, they believed he was their player. But then, things became very complicated. Messy, confusing, highly political. The story goes that Di Stefano had 2 contracts with 2 different clubs in South America. River Plate Millonarios. The Spanish Football Federation stepped in to solve the problem. Their solution was very strange. Di Stefano should play for both clubs. One season for Real Madrid, the next season for Barcelona, alternating each year. Nobody liked it. Barcelona felt cheated. The club's president was furious. He felt that political pressure from Madrid, from General Franco's regime, had influenced the decision. Barcelona felt powerless and wronged. In a gesture of protest, they gave up their claim on Di Stefano completely. They said Real Madrid could have him. It was a decision born from anger and pride that would haunt them for decades. They could not accept sharing a player they believed was rightfully theirs, so they walked away from the deal, leaving the path clear for their biggest rivals. What happened next is the stuff of legend. Alfredo Di Stefano went to Real Madrid and became the greatest player in their history. He led them to 5 consecutive European Cups. Barcelona could only watch as the player they almost had became a global icon for their enemy. In 1943, long before the world watched in high definition, one of the most controversial matches in El Clásico history took place. It was a cup game, the semi-final of the Copa del Generalísimo, a competition named after Spain's dictator General Franco. Barcelona had won the first match at their home stadium 3-0. They traveled to Madrid for the second match feeling confident, but what happened next was not about football, it was about fear and intimidation. The final score was Real Madrid 11, Barcelona 1. It remains the biggest victory in El Clásico history, but it's a result that Barcelona has never accepted. The stories from that day are chilling. Barcelona's players later said they were visited in their changing room before the match by a high-ranking security official from Franco's government. The official supposedly carried a weapon. He delivered a clear message. They were only allowed to play because of the generosity of the regime. The implication was clear. They were expected to lose. The atmosphere in the stadium was incredibly hostile. The crowd was aggressive, and the referee seemed to favor the home team. The Barcelona players were scared for their safety. They said they were not playing a football match, they were surviving an ordeal. The game itself was a farce. Barcelona's goalkeeper was pelted with objects from the crowd every time he went near his goal. The players were afraid to tackle too hard or play with their usual passion. They quickly conceded goal after goal. By halftime, the score was already 8-0. In the second half, Barcelona barely tried to play. They just wanted the game to end so they could leave Madrid safely. The 11-1 scoreline was not a reflection of footballing ability. It was a result achieved through political power and intimidation, a dark chapter that showed how the rivalry was used for purposes far beyond sport. This match is often called the ghost game because, in a sporting sense, it barely happened. It's a reminder that in El Clásico the shadows of the past are always present on the pitch. Respect between rivals is rare, especially in a rivalry as fierce as El Clásico. It's almost unthinkable for fans to applaud a player from the opposing team. But you know, it has happened. And when it does, it's a moment that really transcends football. Back in November 2005, something extraordinary took place at Real Madrid's home, the Santiago Bernabéu Stadium. The Brazilian superstar Ronaldinho, playing for Barcelona, delivered one of the greatest individual performances ever seen in a Clásico. He was just magical, honestly unstoppable. He danced past Madrid's defenders as if they weren't even there. It was like he was playing a different game, a beautiful game. Ronaldinho scored 2 incredible goals that day. For his second goal, he picked up the ball in his own half, ran the length of the pitch, left several Madrid players trailing behind, including the legendary Sergio Ramos, before coolly slotting the ball past the goalkeeper, Iker Casillas. The Barcelona fans, of course, went wild. But then, something else happened. A strange sound started to ripple through the stadium. The Real Madrid fans, heartbroken to see their team being destroyed, got to their feet. They started to applaud. They were clapping for an enemy player in their own home during a humiliating defeat. This wasn't just polite applause, it was a genuine standing ovation, a show of ultimate respect for genius. The Madrid fans recognized they were witnessing something special, something historic. For a moment, the pain of losing was replaced by the pure joy of watching a master at work. Ronaldinho's ovation was an unspoken agreement that some things are more important than club colors. It proved that respect and admiration can exist in the most unlikely of places. The history of El Clásico is filled with secret stories and hidden moments. There was the time Real Madrid gave Barcelona a guard of honor, a pasillo, to applaud their rivals as league champions. A gesture of respect that's almost impossible to imagine today. Then the infamous pig's head incident in 2002. Barcelona fans threw a real pig's head onto the pitch at Luis Figo. Figo, a former hero who had betrayed them by joining Real Madrid. Each event adds another layer of complexity and passion to the narrative, making it richer and more compelling with every passing year. These aren't just trivia, they're the building blocks of the rivalry's identity. Di Stefano's transfer explains Barcelona's deep-seated feeling of injustice. The 11-1 game explains the political baggage both clubs carry. Ronaldinho's ovation shows a shared humanity that can overcome bitterness. The pig's head shows the tribal nature of fan loyalty and the pain of betrayal. These stories are passed down from parents to children, keeping the spirit alive for every new generation. That's why El Clásico is more than 90 minutes of football. It's a cultural tapestry woven with political conflict, historical grievances, incredible sporting genius, raw human emotion. The secrets and untold stories give the match its soul. They turn a simple game into a grand opera. When you watch Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo score a famous goal, you're not just seeing one magical moment. You're seeing the culmination of a century of drama, a history that echoes with every kick and every chant. Next time these two giants collide, remember, you're not just watching a game, you are watching history unfold.